Hello, fellow explorers. Really excited to be here to talk about Antarctica and prepare you for your upcoming voyage on Roald Amundsen or Fridtjof Nansen. We will be dealing with Fram in a separate webinar. So if you are here joining a Fram trip, then you're welcome to listen in and carry on, but we will be covering Fram voyages in a separate webinar. Today, the aim is to answer your questions that you've been sending in and also the frequent questions we get in preparing for a trip. So if you're listening to this live, as Lee said, please contribute. If we're not answering your questions, then please put them in the question chat box, and at the end we will do a question and answer session. And those that are joining and watching a recording, then of course, if you have further questions, then our GX, our customer support team, are there to support you. I'm joined here today by my good friends who I've just spent the whole last week with, which has been fantastic, with Verena, our chief scientist, and Karen, our head of VP of Expeditions Development. I myself are Antarctic ambassador, and we're spread. I'm in the UK, Karen's in Norway, and Verena's currently in Germany but lives in Switzerland. As I mentioned, we're covering these two ships, which both operating out of Ushuaia for the bulk of the season. But of course, the first trip of the season, we will be coming down the coast of South America. So we have Amundsen sailing from Buenos Aires for the first trip of the season, and of course Nansen on the west coast, and the reverse at the end of the season. So we have those trips. Of course, any trip to the frozen continent, the Great White South, is absolutely incredible. And we're very proud that we are the global leader in Antarctic travel, and our feedback over the last couple of years, we get a guest rating of 9.3 out of 10. So we hope we exceed that 9.3 with yourselves this coming season. One of the first big things we get about traveling to Antarctica is the fear of crossing the Drake Passage, and are we going to get the Drake Shake or the Drake Lake? Karen and Verena and myself, we've got quite a bit of experience of going back and forth across the Drake. Maybe Karen more than most, but Karen, tell us a bit about our ships and going across the Drake and what we can expect.
First of all, the seasonality of Antarctica at the time when you are going to be there is spring, summer, and early autumn. So you are at a time when it is calmer than winter storms and late winter storms, and most likely you're going to have either a Drake Lake or a semi-Drake Shake. Which is the prevailing number. Very rarely there is a very Drake Shake, but what modern technology has done is that it's given us so good weather predictions now these days that we're able to predict what that is going to be. So very often our captains and our navigation personnel will actually time it so that you are avoiding the bigger shakes going over. But going over the Drake, you kind of have to earn your right to go to Antarctica in a sense. So it's part of that part of the journey going there. And if you think the Drake is without life, I think Verena and Tudor or whoever will tell you later that it is a lot of life going over. And in my next life, I want to be a wandering albatross living on the Drake.
We all want to be a wandering albatross.
I know.
But one of the questions we get, and I know we're getting into detail straight away, but that's us. Verena, one of the questions we do get is, we've got 2 days to cross the Drake, and of course 2 days back. What do we do? How do we spend that time?
Well, it is the perfect time for us to share important information with our guests so that they are prepared for what is to come. Some of those information is in regards to IATO regulations and how we are going to bring them ashore with the tender boats and how to join the tender boats, how to wear a life jacket, and so on and so on, about biosecurity. But it is also the opportunity that we have to start providing lectures and introducing all the wildlife to be seen in the continent. So it's a preparation mode, those 2 days. A lot of information. It's also when our guests will go and get the boots, try them out. So yes, preparation.
Preparation. And before you know it, you'll be seeing the first iceberg, watching the incredible bird life behind the ships. So yeah, a great time, the Drake Passage. And of course, our ships are made for this type of voyage. We have stabilizers, and as Karen said, our ship's navigators will chart the best course. We will talk about medication, but we'll just say it here as well, as the Drake is the biggest open stretch of water. If you do worry or you are concerned or you get motion sickness, then please do bring seasickness medication, herbal remedies. Ginger is well known and a good one. Wrist strap, patches. So if you are concerned, then obviously bring those and come prepared. Okay, we'll move on. For the last year, we have been all-inclusive, so we don't expect you to dip your hands in your pockets for the day-to-day necessities of being on board. That includes all our food, our drinks, apart from some premium drinks, coffees, Wi-Fi, expedition jackets, and of course the gratuities are also included. But of course, if you feel you would like to give, then that's fine at the end of the trip. And also at the end of the trip, one of our expedition team is a professional photographer and will be supplying a logbook of his or her photos of the trip. So you will get that along with lots of other information, including a science report from the trip after when you return from home. On board Amundsen and Nansen, we have 3 incredible dining options. Auna, which is the main restaurant, Fredheim, which has an international flair where we mix up the evenings from a Filipino night to a Indian night. Absolutely gorgeous food in Fredheim, and that is open most of the day. And Lindstrom is our a la carte restaurant, which our suite guests can eat in, but also other guests can eat in at a small additional price. So yeah, lots of dining options for you to choose from, and plenty. I think we have more of a problem of being able to fit in our clothes having got off the ship, but yeah, it's certainly very comfortable. One of the things we also get asked about is, how much light we will have. Karen, we're not. Some trips are going south of the polar circle, so you get the true 24-hour daylight. But what at the start and the end of the season, what can we expect?
So what you can expect is for you going in November, you will have the nights like past 9 o'clock will be dark. And then it gets lighter and lighter towards December, when you will experience more or less, not quite the polar light or the entire night being light, but it will in December and January be very light until like 1-2 a.m. Then there's a bit of dusk around 2, 3, 4, and then it becomes completely light again very early, which is very nice. And then if you're south of the circle, those of you going on those, there will be 24-hour daylight for a little while. And then when you come towards the end of the season, you end up coming towards where you also have dark around 8-9 o'clock at night. And we do all the landings and all the activities before that, so it's not a big issue whatever time you come, in a sense, because most of the activities is done within that time frame anyway. So and then it's light again around 5-6. So that's the reality. And
whilst we're on weather, light, the standard sort of temperatures we're talking about. We're going to talk about clothes in a minute.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
terms of temperatures, we can kind of expect, -5 to
Yeah.
+10 midsummer
Mm.
Celsius, which you'll have to remind me, Karen, because you're the clever one. What's that in Fahrenheit? We put it in the notes.
We did put it in the notes.
Well, we'll get to that when we talk about clothes now. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
the onboard temperature is a consistent between sort of 21 degrees Celsius, 68 Fahrenheit. So the engine control room keep the ship at a very comfortable temperature, which again will pay into play now when we talk about life on board. But Verena, would you like to talk us a bit about how to be comfortable on board?
Yes, of course. So we don't have a dress code per se on board. It's so you can be relaxed and comfortable, casual, even at dinner. You don't need to bring your long dress or your suit. Whatever you feel comfortable wearing, that is the right clothing to bring. We also recommend you to bring comfortable shoes, flat shoes to be on board. But if you plan to spend most of your time on deck, which is highly recommended, we also recommend you to bring a pair of shoes that has a good grip, as the decks may be slippery, particularly when they are wet. And of course, do not forget your sunglasses, your sunblock, both for the skin and the lips. We recommend you to bring a small waterproof bag where you can carry your camera, your extra batteries. Don't forget your camera charger. On board, we have plugs of type C, so do not forget to bring an adapter if you need. And if you want to use the pool and the sauna, we also recommend you bringing some swimming wear. And of course, the thing that you should not forget is a pair of binoculars. That is the most important thing to bring, if you ask me.
And me.
We've got a slide in a little bit that talks about what is the perfect binocular, but of course, being out and seeing and enhancing your experience with binoculars really brings the incredible wildlife and scenery to life even more.
Exactly.
And then Karen, when we get off the ship, what do you recommend?
So first of all, temperatures in Fahrenheit when you're outside, folks, is between 23 and 50. That's the -5 to +10 in Celsius. So in that, with that temperature span, you will need layering system, is what we call it, because it's super different if you move or if you stand still. If you stand still around a penguin colony for most of your landing time, you will need to have a bit of layering on, which means you need to have a good base layer. And Norwegian is speaking right now, so that means wool, 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 and wool. And we've converted a Welshman and a Swiss Mexican here, so they're also using wool, wool, wool. That's the base layer. Then you put on a mid layer, which is either a thin puff jacket or again, woolen sweater, which is the best. And then, or whatever is up, it's up to you, please. And then you put this wonderful blue jacket, which is your waterproof layer, on top. If you think about the lower part, which is pants, then you should wear a wool base layer as well, or something that you like. And then normally 2 layers is enough for the pants section. So a base layer and the top layer, which will be the waterproof layer, either your ski pants or your waterproof pants. They need to be water resistant for you to be able to be in the boats without getting wet, because you're going to sit on wet pontoons, rubber pontoons on boats and so forth. So shoes we will provide because it's biosecurity, scarves, buffs, gloves, socks, the whole shebang there. Very good. Also hats, very important, because it can become very windy. So a hat underneath your hood, which a jacket provides, very important. and sunscreen, of course, and sunglasses and stuff like that, because you're going to be on snow. So the reflection can be quite harsh.
And I think the neck gaiters, or buffs, the trade name for a neck gaiter,
Right.
are also a couple of those are very good, because you can do so much with it, and just keeping that around your neck is really good. For our sailings going through Argentina, then having credit cards are widely accepted in Argentina, but of course the Argentinian peso is the local currency, and you can withdraw it from ATMs or cash machines in there. In the Falkland Islands, the trips on Armenton and also Nansen at the end of the season that go to the Falklands, the local currency is Great British GDP, Great British pounds. But again, credit cards are taken. And also US dollars is a useful cash currency to have in your back pocket if needed. And our currency on our ships is euros. So everything is priced in euros, but that goes onto your cruise card, so you don't need euro cash at all on the ships. Our expedition jackets, we've actually put a lot of thought and energy into those, and we were just sort of thought it would be useful showing you. And as Karen mentioned, the outer jacket is like very much similar to a Gore-Tex waterproof jacket. It's designed to go as part of the layering principle, but with the pockets and everything you need, with a really good water resistant penetration. So it's a good jacket which will keep you dry and will keep the wind off. But please do bring layers to go underneath. So that's those. We also supply other expedition equipment. Karen, what do we loan to our guests?
We loan them some really good quality muck boots. I know that's a trademark, but it is something that resonates with people knowing what that is. So it's a very good neoprene rubber combinated welly or rubber boot, which also gives good support to ankles and have a very good fit on any foot. So it is easy to walk in, even in snow, and it keeps you warm. Especially if you have to stand still, wanting to watch some penguins in a colony, you can very much keep the warmth in those. And they are mandatory because these are the boots that can be cleaned, and they're rigorous biosecurity. We'll get back to that. And you do not need any crampons and walking spikes, but we will provide you with walking sticks. There will be bags of them in 3 different sizes, both small, medium, and large, on every single landing site. You don't have to bring them. We will bring them ashore for you. You pick them up once you get off the boat.
Yeah, and feel free to use them. It really helps and just steadies on snow. Most of us aren't used to walking on snow. Obviously, some in the call will be, but it's snow and uneven surfaces, so very, very good to have. We also provide you all with a bottle, not just a bottle. Tell us a bit about the ocean bottle, Verena.
Yes, gladly. So the ocean bottle is made out of recycled ocean plastic, meaning plastic that has been fished out of the ocean. And for every bottle that we provide our guests with, we are helping avoid 1,000 plastic bottles reach the ocean. So far, since we started our collaboration with Ocean Bottle, we have helped prevent 1,200 tons of plastic reach the oceans. And these bottles, really, we can tell you, we all use them on our everyday life. They are amazing, and they can also keep your beverage hot if you prefer hot beverages. They are insulated, and you will love it.
Yeah, and they're really good to drink of as well. I mean,
Yes.
And throughout the
Indeed.
ship, on every deck, there's water refill stations to to fill them up. So they're great. We mentioned about binoculars. Your recommendation, Verena, for what should be the perfect binocular?
Well, we get this question very often, and of course, the perfect answer, if you already possess a pair of binoculars, is the one that you have. But if you are thinking on investing on a new pair for this once in a lifetime trip, we do recommend, based on our ornithologists' input, magnifications between 8 times and 10 times, and objective lengths between 32 and 42 millimeters. If you go bigger in the size of the objective or the amplification, the magnification, it gets more and more difficult to focus and follow wildlife, and you can get tired of carrying your binocular. So this combination will provide you with the best option to spot wildlife and follow it. Think, of course, that we will be seeing a lot of flying or seabirds flying around the ship, which you will very probably want to follow with your binocular. So that's the magnification and objective size that we recommend.
Brilliant. Thanks. I think it's fair to say, like all the other things in the clothing, is don't go out and feel you need to buy full-on expedition equipment for this trip. It's something, you generally, if you're into the outdoors or walking, waterproof trousers, pants, then that will do the job. But just thinking about the layer system to keep yourself warm, bring a number of hats, but don't feel you need to go out and spend a fortune on new kit. And of course, unless you want to and you like kit. But yeah, it's about being comfortable. A number of our trips, particularly on Roald Amundsen at the start of the season, do go through the Falkland Islands. Falklands, again, incredible sight. But just want to draw your attention to that in Stanley, we do have 10 optional excursions that you can join. So if you are interested in doing those, then please take a look at the website for your trip. And there's an excursions tab and it will give details of those. You can book them on board. So when you join the ship, then the expedition coordinator will be putting this and you can sign up. If you are really, really sure you want to go on that trip, then please, there's details on the website about how to book. You need to email or call our guest service team, our GX team, to make that booking. So if you really want to do that, then pre-book, but generally then booking on board is fine. We also do a number of off-ship activities, and we've got some new ones. Then Karen, this year we're increasing our kayaking and our camping bivvying offer. Then would you like to talk us just a little bit through those?
Yep, I can do that. So we have due to popular demand, I have to say, we have now a program that spans over 2 types of kayaks and 2 types of programs. The Sea Explorer kayak is the current program we've had. A few sturdy plastic kayaks that will take you on a bit of a longer journey. And then we have a new inflatable kayak type, which is called the Discovery kayak product, which will then take you on a kayaking within a parameter, and where you kayak without a guide but with safety boats around, and it gives you the autonomy of kayaking a little bit on your own, with us keeping a good eye and keeping you safe. So that is what we are going to introduce in the coming season in Antarctica. I would like to just add a little bit, because I think that question is going to come anyway, Tudor, and that is about the equipment. So for the Sea Explorer kayak, which goes further away with guides. We have a full kit of dry suits and kit with it, which is a little bit more elaborate because they are going further away. But for the Discovery kayak product, we have landed on a little bit easier accessibility for people to use. We will provide a paddle jacket, and you will use the rubber boots and your own waterproof skiing pants or waterproof pants when you paddle in those kayaks, in the Discovery kayaks. So that's the equipment level we're going to be on, and all of this is optional. So it's so it has a price, since we cannot cater for everyone, but we can cater for many. So the accessibility is going to be a lot better this year than it has been before. For the tent and the bivvying, we're doubling the capacity to 60. We used to have 30. Now we're going to have a equal division between tent and what we call bivy bagging. What you can see there is a bivy bag. This is basically taken on the back of people's response to the tenting program. There were quite a few guests who didn't even really use the tent a lot. They wanted to stay outside and see the changing lights during the camping night. This was taken from early December last year when I was testing the bivy. And so now we have the opportunity for both. So people who would like to be warm and toasty but still be outside under the sky can choose the bivy. Those who would like to still have the comfort of a tent can choose the tent. So we will have room for 60 people per camp night now.
Brilliant. Exciting that we're going to be able to do that for more people in response to feedback from our guests, which is great.
Yes.
Yeah. And as Karen mentioned, then some of our activities like the Discovery kayak and the Sea Explorer kayak and the camping and the bivvying and snowshoeing are optional extras which are chargeable. These are all bookable on board. So when you get on board, if you want to do these things, we on board, the expedition coordinator and teams will put you into groups for the kayaking. So we will endeavor to get everybody kayaking. For the bivvy and tent, there are limited places. So there is a system that we work on board based on a sort of a lottery system. But with 60 places available, we're aiming to get as many people out as we possibly can. And all these activities are conditions and weather dependent. Of course, safety is very important in any remote area. We also have the opportunity to do a polar plunge. Swimming would be a bit of a stretch on the words. So we do that two ways. One from the beach where you run in as per the picture on the right. And then also you can do the hero pose on the left where we jump from a Zodiac from the side of the ship. One of the questions we get is what is a Zodiac? And we keep on referring to it, but just to confirm that the small expedition boats are the Zodiacs. So that's what we use to go ashore. And every day in the evening, our expedition team, led by our expedition leader, will give a briefing for the next day. And although we have a initial outline plan, we really look at the weather to try and aim to get the ship in the best place at the right time to give you the best experience. When you're on board at the start, as Verena mentioned, then we will be splitting you into boat groups, usually around animals, penguin groups, whale groups, seal groups, bird groups. And that is how we organize you through the day. So we take so we have, as a guest, as a good example, in the morning, you could be doing a nature landing where we will take you by Zodiac to the landing site to look at, for example, a penguin colony, but it could be a historic site or a scenic stop. In the afternoon, doing a small boat cruising, so taking you around, and then also the optional activities that we've just talked about of kayaking, explorer kayaking, snowshoeing, and we're moving on to our science and education program, where we have a lot of activities on and off the ship. And I'll hand over to our chief scientist, Verena.
Thank you, Tudor. So yes, the science and education program is what you will experience both on board through lectures and activities, hands-on activities, discovery sessions, and deck sessions, deck watch sessions with our experts on board. So we will invite you to not only learn through lectures, but also discover by yourself using all the amazing equipment we have on board, the microscopes, the bone clones, and the samples that we will be collecting on site to better understand the environment that you will be discovering with us soon. But not only will we be doing this while on board the ship, we will also do other activities when cruising with the small boats, for example. Tudor, if you can give me the next slide, please.
Right. Yeah.
We will be running what we call our science boat, where we will be contributing to a number of citizen science projects. From the science boat, projects like the SekiDisc, but also we will be offering other opportunities to discover citizen science projects that you can continue supporting after the trip while at home or on holidays, like the cloud observations. And just for you to be ready to participate in these programs, we have put here a number of QR codes for applications such as eBird, iNaturalist, Happy Whale, and a number of other citizen science projects that we will offer on board in Antarctica. Alice, our amazing support queen in the back, will share a snapshot or a screenshot of these slides so that you have the QR codes to prepare for your trip. And also, we have, as you may know, last year we launched for the very first time an introductory course to Antarctica in collaboration with the University of Tasmania. And it was a big success. We therefore decided to continue this work with UTAS, and we will be launching the new course in November. So you will receive a link to join this new course starting the first week of November. And this time we will be offering a two-tier course. The first one, the introduction course, will be available for everybody joining one of our trips to Antarctica. It is free of charge. It is flexible. You can do it whenever you want, before, during, after your trip. You can do it at your own pace. It is accessible anywhere, anytime, again, at your own pace. The number 2 course will be a more comprehensive course, and it is meant to be a follow-up of the first course, your trip with us in Antarctica. And then if you want to dive even deeper into Antarctica, you can take this comprehensive course, which will require a fee, an enrollment fee, and will be available for 1 year after you enroll for it. You will receive an accreditation from UTAS that can be carried forward to further studies with the university. So it is a great opportunity if you were always dreaming of doing a master's in Antarctic studies. This is your opportunity to do so.
It's a good start. And also one of the things we do in terms of giving back to the community, we dedicate at least 2 cabins on every voyage to guest scientists. So we have a massive group of guest scientists joining us through the season. Verena, very briefly, do you want to talk us through these?
Yes, Alice will also do us the favor of taking a snapshot of these following slides so that you can look based on your trip what kind of research project will be being supported on your trip. But just to make it short, we will be supporting social science projects, we will be supporting whale research, penguin research. So yes, just look at based on the ship and the dates, what kind of research you will be having on board for your trips. On Amundsen, we will have for one specific trip, the one departing November 15th, a social science project from the University of Groningen who needs volunteers. And you find here a QR code that will lead you to their information page and where you can register. All of those supporting Zdenka's project will receive a great pair of polar socks. And everybody supporting Liz will get a nice journal to fill in during their voyage. So if you are traveling on Amundsen on November the 15th and are interested in joining one of these two studies, please contact them through this QR code. And yes, Alice will also put the snapshot of that one and of this last slide regarding the guest scientist on Fridtjof Nansen. Again, here we will again have social science projects. We will also have people studying the avian flu, how it is developing in Antarctica, very important project. And we will have also the Norwegian Polar Institute trying to recover sound traps that were left in Antarctica throughout the winter. So very interesting research projects. Please just based on these slides, see what project will be on board when you are there too.
Fantastic, thanks Verena. I'm just I'm going back because I've realized I've put a slide in the wrong place, apologies. But we do have questions and of course medical information. We briefly spoke about the Drake Passage and seasickness at the start. So just reiterating, if you are concerned or you do know you suffer, then please bring appropriate seasickness medication. If you do have prescription medication, then please, like same as if you travel anywhere else in the world, please bring that adequate stocks and bring it in your hand luggage. We would love to say that airlines don't mislay bags, but I know Verena's in Germany without her bag as of today. So please, just to make sure you have adequate stocks in your hand luggage. On board, we do have a doctor and 2 nurses. But as part of going to Antarctica, we do require all our guests to have medical evacuation insurance. And this is very common for a cruise insurance. So they're common policies, but please make sure you have medical evacuation insurance. And you will need to put those details of that insurance on your pre-voyage documentation. Everybody going to Antarctica as part of our self-sufficiency will also need to do the medical. This is a 2-part medical in partnership with our medical provider, VCAND, which covers your own self-assessment, but also a medical practitioner. You should have also received those, and that has to be in 8 weeks beforehand. We do have had questions about laundry. On board, we do have a laundry service. If you are in one of our suites, then laundry is complimentary. If you are in one of our staterooms, one of our ordinary cabins, then there is a simple, same as in any hotel, a list at very reasonable rates and a quick turnaround service overnight. There's also an express service where you can put in for your laundry. So that is something that you can you do and available on board. We did mention in our boot section about biosecurity. Biosecurity is very, very important in the polar regions and stopping the spread of things like avian flu and non-native species. So we do have these industrial boot cleaners from that Karen found years ago from the fish factory industry in Norway, where they're good at cleaning boots. So anything that we go ashore then really has to be cleaned when we go back on board. And we also go through a biocide before getting off the ship and on the ship. Anything that touches the ground has to go through that. So if it's a tripod, walking sticks, we will of course clean our own walking sticks that we provide, but anything else, please make sure that they're cleaned going on board. In Antarctica, we don't allow sitting on the ground, and again, that's for biosecurity reasons and preventing avian flu, so no sitting or kneeling. And if you did happen to fall, then we will clean you when you come back on board. We also mentioned the temperatures already, but there they are again. Please, whoops, sorry, fingers pressing the button too quickly. Please remember that you'll need a valid passport, and you have to have your passport has to be 6 months valid from when you disembark. So please check you are in date with your passport and renew if needed. And if you do happen to renew your passport, then please make sure that you supply the details in the guest manifest. Generally, visas are not required for Argentina generally, but please check depending on where you're from and your passport issuing country that you have appropriate visas if needed. I mentioned the medical, and also please make sure you fill in the ship's manifest information and the pre-travel documentation. We've put a few books here that we recommend you have a read, which I'll quickly go through. The Storied Ice is a compendium of the history of different expeditions, which are great. The Antarctic Wildlife Guide and the Whales and Dolphins and Porpoises are really good wildlife guides for the region, which you can look through. And then 2 history books. Endurance by Lansing it's based on the historical facts of Shackleton's journey, but it's written in such a fantastic way. It's a real page turner. And then the majority of our trips are going down the western Antarctic Peninsula, which was first sailed by de Gerlache and the Gerlache Strait, etc., all named after him. And this book, Madhouse at the End of the Earth, is the story of that. And of course, Amundsen and Cook were members of that expedition. So a really good read to an areas and many places you will visit. Okay, getting to Antarctica. You will be arriving in Buenos Aires, and at the airport, if you have booked the travel things with us, then you will be met at the airport by one of our hosts, transferred to downtown Buenos Aires to one of our hotels. Please note that in Buenos Aires there are 2 airports. There's the international airport, Ezeiza, which is approximately an hour, but traffic can be heavy, like in most big capital cities. So it can take more time, it can take less time to transfer downtown. The check-in generally at our hotels is around 3 p.m., but adjustments obviously can be made. And then we will have a hospitality desk at the airports. Hospitality desk at the hotels where we will have a member of the team to welcoming you. When you get to the hotel, then we will give you the details of the timings and the groups for the charter flight the next day down to Ushuaia. At the charter flights tend to leave Buenos Aires around 7 a.m., which means we will get to the airport around 5 and the transfer, so at 4 a.m. So you've already worked out it's an early start on the day of embarkation. So please be prepared for that, and you will get details of which charter flight, because there will be 2, and maybe some also slots on other flights, but to get you down to Ushuaia in good time for embarkation and also for a look around Ushuaia. On return, then we do take the flights back into Ezeiza because, again, feedback from some guests that they like to come back into Ezeiza, so they have the option of leaving late at night back on an international flight. But we do recommend spending a night in Buenos Aires on the way out because flexibility on any expedition and also flights, but we do have that option there by taking the charter flight back into Ezeiza at the end of the trip. We do, of course, you're all booked on a trip, so you already have our contact details, but here they are again if needed. I know there have been a lot of questions, so I wanted to make sure we had some time for questions at the end. So I'm going to ask Ollie to join us. I know some of the team have been very busy answering your questions in the background, but I'll stop sharing screen. And Ollie, what are the hot questions that we haven't covered?
Yes, thank you very much, everybody. There's been an awful lot of questions, so thanks to the team behind the scenes supporting as well. I'll try and cover off some of the headline items. So, right, let's go first off with the Drake Passage. So, a hot topic. And somebody has asked, for context, what's worse, the Drake or the North Sea? Karen, I feel like you're very well qualified for this question.
I can answer that. I can answer that the North Sea for sure, much worse than the Drake.
Really? Okay.
And should I just explain why? Because the North Sea is so shallow. It is 144 meters in depth on average, which means you get these really roaring high waves because it hits the seafloor and comes up in like huge waves. What is different about the South is that you have thousands of meters depth. So you get these kind of rolling waves, and they are a lot less abrupt and they are long, very long. I think that was the first thing I reacted to when I came south, was that how long they are. And so they are a lot less scary, I have to say. I said North Sea. Yeah, no.
Great. If you've done the North Sea, you're very well prepared.
Oh God, you can do anything if you've done the North Sea, I tell you that.
Okay, moving on to the next question, and related to that, does the weather ever hinder or stop the crossing? So maybe Tudor, if you could cover that.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we're very conscious of is guest comfort and guest safety. So we mentioned that our navigators may change course for comfort, and we may slow down again for comfort. If the conditions are really, really horrendous, maybe I think I can remember maybe once in on a sort of three-year cycle, then we will wait and postpone in the end of the Beagle Channel. So again, comfort and safety are the main thing, but again, it's rare.
Very. I mean, because these ships are really built for being able to handle bad weather well. And with that, I mean well, because there are stabilizers, which means that it takes away the rolling. You get the pitch back and forth, but you do not get this full rolling with a modern ship of our kind. So it's a lot more comfortable. So you don't even feel the waves until you are really coming up to 5-6 meters height. Until then, you hardly feel it. The ship is very good.
Yeah.
And Verena, probably related to your background, the question, are there puffins in Antarctica? I know the answer, but
no, there are not, unfortunately.
There's a lot of interest though, Verena, in the University of Tasmania course, quite rightly, given that's an excellent way to learn about the continent before traveling. So people are asking about the different content in the different kind of levels and when that's released. So I believe it's the first week in November that's all going to be sent out via email to the guests.
The tier 1, the first, the introductory course. The second one will take a bit longer to be released. They are both in production, the free course will be for around 2.5 to 4 hours maximum. And the longer trip will be between 8 to 20 hours, depending on how deep you want to go into the subject. But yes, it will be released a bit later than the free one.
And what I would say is we would love to have this course out now, but we've been working on it with UTAS since April, based on feedback. So it's a lot of content and a lot of course, but it's going to be really, really good.
Yes.
Excellent. And if you did happen to travel this last season and you're traveling again, I asked the question because I did, is it worth doing this new course as well? And that it is apparently evolved and adapted according to feedback. So very much.
Well, it is a brand new course. So yes, I would say yes, do it again. Yeah. And it's worth it.
Great. Karen, there's questions around so the people that know us potentially have traveled previously. There used to be a lottery system for camping and kayaking, and it wasn't always the case that people would be able to do that. As I understand it, with the new setup and the added places, that's going to be much improved, and hopefully we're going to be able to accommodate everyone. But could you talk to that, please?
Yes, so I mean, as we said, it is 60 for camping. So if it comes above 60, we will naturally going to have to resort to the lottery system. I don't even like to use that word because we really because it's not really a lottery system, but we try to make it as fair as possible for people to. Because we do understand that you're there once and you really want to join, but we also have an environmental stewardship role to take. So we also need to have a number on it. So 60. The average number of guests who have been wanting to go camping on a trip has actually been around that number. So I have a lot of faith in that we will be able to accommodate most. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not for everyone. It's absolutely amazing.
No, for sure not. No, absolutely not. No.
I think it's fair to say all our activities, whether it be a lecture, a discovery session on deck, or kayaking, is we want you all as our guests to be as comfortable as possible, and you choose how active you want to be. How involved you want to be in citizen science projects, or if you want to go, some people want to go kayaking 3-4 times, so etc. So you choose, and we aim to provide the options for you to do that.
But the landing, the cruising, I mean, the small boat cruising and the landing is something we put on for absolutely everyone. So I mean, the main activities are there for everyone, and very often we are also able to accommodate everybody who wants to do science and science activities. Not guaranteeing it, but it is we have high capacity on some of these activities.
And obviously it is
a lot. Yeah.
And obviously it is an expedition and subject to the weather.
Yes, it's all. I mean, everything is due to weather. Landings, cruisings, everything is subject to weather. Yeah.
May also be one for you, Karen, around base layers, which I know is one of your hot topics. So we have a few people that it seems are allergic to wool, so they're asking what the next best option is. They're allergic to wool.
Bamboo is very good, and I would also say that there are some really nice cotton base layers that can be, and there's but the bamboo has actually shown itself really, really well. It has about the same qualities as wool. It keeps you warm, and it also, if you sweat, because I said if you will start to sweat, and then when you stop, suddenly you get a bit cold. And if you then use synthetics, it will kind of just linger on your skin rather than the fabric actually absorbing it. So I would, if you're going to go for something, just go for something with natural fibers. Whatever that is fine. Cotton, bamboo, things like that. It will work really well with a combination activity where you stand still and you walk.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Welcome.
Potentially Tudor, there are a lot of questions around travel insurance today, it seems. So could you just allay people's concerns about what they need to
the main thing is medical repatriation insurance, and there are standard sort of cruise policies that cover medical repatriation. So it's something that's readily available on the market. I'm pretty sure in our travel docs it does put an amount in there. I'm afraid I can't quite quote that. I'm not sure if anybody in the background can help put that in the chat, what the amount request is.
We'll try and find that out in the background. There's also a question for Verena around cameras, normal cameras like DSLRs. Will they survive in the temperatures of Antarctica? And any recommendations, tips you have around using cameras would be good.
What we recommend is, if you take your camera gear out and you want to look at your pictures immediately when you come back to the ship, avoid turning your camera on or taking it out of the camera bag. Just take the card out, take a card reader, allow your camera to slowly adapt to the onboard temperature so that you don't have condensation forming in your camera. Other than that, bring several batteries. What is mostly affected by the low temperatures are the batteries. They drain quicker than at warmer temperatures. But other than that, just also protect them from water. Always have them in a dry bag or in your backpack when you are on the moving on the tender boats. If you are cruising and the boats are stopped or going slowly, then yes, take your camera out. But splashes are very often, right, Karin?
Oh yeah.
So do keep them dry, your cameras.
Small dry bags, always good to have. And we do also, if you forget, we do sell, I think we also do sell them on board, these small bags. But yes, they are super useful.
Great, thank you. We are at time, but we've been inundated with questions, so we will hang on for a few more minutes and try and answer some more themes of the questions. Unfortunately, we won't be able to answer everything, but if you do have to go, then we will record this webinar and send it to you via email. So we'll carry on, but apologies, we're slightly run over. One of the questions we've had is around science, Verena. Will the guests be able to access any of the scientific information pre-travel? So you mentioned some of the guest lecturers.
Yes.
But yeah, if you could talk to that, that would be great. Thank you.
I did see that question, and I want to highlight that we are working hard with our comms teams to have our science and education webpage updated so that we can share more information about our collaborations and the outcome of the work that researchers have been doing on our ships. So stay tuned. Hopefully we will get that updated page up and running really quickly.
Great. There's a question around another hot topic, or there's a few questions around something that Karin, I know you're a specialist in as well, around ski pants and waterproof trousers. And if you could make some recommendations around what to bring. And we do highly recommend waterproof trousers as a minimum, don't we?
We do. And you don't need these very expensive ski pants to be able to, I mean, a simple waterproof pants is more than good enough. and a very, I mean, almost every sports brand carry these lightweight skiing pants or / waterproof pants that you can use. And they are typically around $150, $200 mark. And that's more than good enough. They just need to be repellent of water and relatively baggy, nothing really tight, because you're going to have to go in and out of boats, and that you need a bit of agility to not feel that. And I've done that mistake myself. So, you know, having too small and that's not good. So for quality wise, a normal rain pants around $100 to $200 mark, more than good enough. And make sure that when you try them on, that you can sort of move properly in them, and thinking that you're going to go in and out of a small open boat once you are in Antarctica. And that will also fit you to do the new kayak program as well, if you want to do that.
Great, thank you. Brenna, in terms of one of the most popular activities is whale watching, and there's a couple of questions around whales. How likely are our guests to see whales, and what's the likelihood of seeing orcas? So if you could.
Whales, we can for sure say that starting December, there will be a lot of whales around, or they start coming down south mid-November, December. We have seen the numbers of humpback whales particularly increasing in Antarctica. The recovery has been amazing. But if you want, well, you all have already booked, so you will not be able to change your trip based on possibility of watching whales or not. But humpbacks, you will certainly, we can most certainly say you will see humpback whales. Orcas is a different story. They show up when they show up. There are some populations that live around Antarctica throughout the years, others that migrate or that leave the region occasionally, but they are very difficult to you cannot say for sure if you will see them or not.
Yeah.
But yeah,
they're not in abundance as humpback, right? I mean,
yeah.
But humpbacks for sure.
Yeah.
As you guys always say, it's not a zoo, right? So you're really lucky to see.
That's the beauty of it. It's not.
Maybe Tudor or any of you, what are the best kind of gloves to take to Antarctica? Waterproof, a thermal? What about taking photos? What do you recommend?
I think, like, first of all, what do you use elsewhere when it's cold? So, you know, that's a good guide. And also, you know, with gloves, same as hats, you know, one size doesn't fit all, in that you need some variety. So if it is wet and getting, you know, splashed in a boat, then having a waterproof pair. If it's cold and windy on a landing, having a more of a thermal pair. So having a number of different pairs is a good guide, and I usually take a waterproof pair and a thermal pair with me.
And for pictures, the one that you can take your thumb or
little pinky
index finger out are good.
Brenna, on the subject of photography, are camera tripods allowed on the shore?
Yes, they are, but you will need to clean them accordingly when you return back to the ship because of biosecurity. But yes, tripods are accepted, as well as monopods if you prefer to carry a less heavy equipment.
Yeah, okay. Karen, with the camping, couple of concerns around leopard seals. Can you alleviate any fears about sleeping in a bivy bag and having an unexpected visitor in the night?
Well, first of all, the leopard seal doesn't come ashore, so no dangers there at all. The leopard seal is on. They lie on floes, ice floes, or are in the water. They're really clumsy shoreside. I mean, penguins. If I've seen it a couple of times when it was I think it was in Deception Island. One kind of drifted on land for a little bit, but like 5 meters, 15 feet up, and penguins just went around this leopard seal and basically said, haha, you can't really reach us, because they're really clumsy. They can't really move on land. So no danger at all when it comes to leopard seals and camping. So I can say that very
good.
very, and just for the glove thing, I mean, there are a couple of brands that do really good, the good gloves for the purpose what Tudor was mentioning, and that is Hestra, Hestra. They are really good on gloves, and you can find them worldwide. And Rab, RAB, they do also really good gloves. Just to give you a little bit of an, if you're looking. Those two brands are pretty good on gloves for this purpose.
Yeah. There are a few questions around whether you need experience to go kayaking, which I can actually answer from my own experience in March of this year, where I'd been kayaking previously, but the friend that I was traveling with in his mid-40s had not. And he had the most amazing experience with myself kayaking very close to humpback whales. They're 20-30 meters away from us, so obviously we can't guarantee that happens, but I can guarantee that you don't need previous experience, because my friend hadn't at all, and his mind was absolutely blown by that experience. What else have we got here?
There's a few things, Ollie, that that I either forgot to mention or I thought was going to come up in the questions. But I know there's been questions on the luggage allowance. Of course, the national allowance is based on whichever airline you're flying with. But on our charter flights, we allow one hold baggage up to 23 kilograms and one cabin bag up to 8 kilograms. So that's on the charter flight to and from Buenos Aires to Ushuaia and on return. So that's one hold up to 23 and one cabin up to 8. And then also the travel docs, as in the booking documents for your trip, will come out when you've submitted the medical form and the ship's manifest. So those documents, when they come into the system, will trigger the release of the final travel documentation.
Yeah, so no later than 30 days before you travel, typically. Yeah. I think, there's a question around ski goggles, Karen. Do you think are they recommended, or are sunglasses enough?
Sunglasses are enough in this setting. If you have a pair of ski goggles that you would like to have instead of your, if that's what you prefer, in a sense, instead of your sunglasses, then yes, then do that. But for your purpose of this these activities, sunglasses are enough.
Yeah.
There was.
Oh, sorry, go on.
No, there was just one question on a ski or a pant of 65 feet hydrostatic.
Yeah.
And yes, that is a very good rating for waterproof and is suitable for heavy rain. So it's a definite yes. You got a good pair of pants.
Yeah. There are a number of questions around the medical form, and this is a mandatory requirement for our guests before you travel with us. Given the nature of the expedition so some of you may not have received your reminder email for this yet, because we ask our guests to complete that medical between 12 and 8 weeks before departure. So if you're in February or March next year, you won't have had that, obviously. So please bear in mind that not everybody will have had that yet. But if you are within the 8 weeks of travel, then you should have completed that by now. If not, then our call center will likely be following up with you direct. And the form is on our website. We work with a specialist medical provider called Vikund, and we invite you to complete the medical form with your local doctor, or if you have a challenge getting an appointment with your local doctor, as can be a challenge in some markets, then Vikund are able to get you an appointment with one of their doctors online for a fee of €165. So I hope that clarifies the kind of process around medicals, and it's for everyone's kind of peace of mind as well, traveling on the ship, so that not just HX are covered, that you yourselves can be comfortable, that all of the guests are fit to travel, if you like.
Because this has a real, it has such a consequence if we have to return because of a medical evacuation, and it affects everyone. So it's really important that we have that collective care.
Yeah. There's a few people asking about time of leaving Ushuaia and arrival back. Again, it's an expedition, so the timings can vary, but do you want to talk to that, maybe Karen or Tudor?
Yeah, I mean, I can. Yeah, I mean, generally we leave late afternoon from Ushuaia, around 6 o'clock. But again, it can vary between 5 and 7 or 8, but generally around 6. And coming back in, we tend to come in around 7 a.m., 8 a.m. in the morning. But again, it can vary. So depending on conditions, timing. But that's the very approximate timings.
Right. And on the topic of excursions, could you talk to the boat groups, please, Karen, and how that works in terms of cruising and landings?
Yeah, so we divide people in groups, and they get funny, nice little animal names and stuff like that to make it easier to remember. And they are on general around 32 in each group, and we are allowed to have 100 people ashore at any given point of time. So that means that 3 groups are then going out, which we call a super group. And then we make sure that we rotate those groups so that we all are like children in a sense. So even if we are grown up, we all want to go out first at some point. So that's the reason if group 1, 2, and 3 go out first, on the first landing, they move back to the back of the line on the next landing, and then it's group 4, 5, and 6 that goes out first on the next, so that we keep rotating that. So one group around 30, 100 ashore, that means 3 times 30 go out. Then there's a break, and then another 100 goes out, and until we have everybody out. And the same goes for the cruising as well. So those 2 activities are run with those groups and that rotation. It's a proper Sudoku game to work, but it works really well.
Brilliant. I think that we've covered most of the questions now. Not absolutely every individual one. Some of them are quite specific, and the team here won't be able to answer those. You'll need to reach out to our call center directly, please, if you need to answer questions around flight details or hotels and things, and transfers. But thank you very much, panel, for all of your expertise and enthusiasm as ever, and thank you all of our guests for joining. Look forward to welcoming you on board our ships very shortly.
Yes.
And
hope we see you.
Yeah. And one final thing is that there's a questionnaire that will pop up, so we'd love your feedback on the webinar today so that we can look to evolve in future. So thank you very much.
Have an amazing trip.
Yes.
Have a great trip.
Bye.
Bye.